Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and I come on to do a video to Reb Shlomo. His username is SubmissiontotheLord, and this is a video response to Submission to the Lord interview by Atheist Keane. And I kind of got a hold of the Reb because he's a dytheist, and I find it interesting. He's a dytheist currently, and I kind of wanted to interview him, but I don't know if when I sent him what the topics were. I don't know if I sent him running for the hills. Dang, I look shabby. I gotta shave. But I hope I didn't send him running for the hills by the way I phrased it, because in the interview with Keane, basically Keane just let him chatter like a songbird, you know, and mainly he asked a few questions, but really let the Reb get his message out. Do his little song and dance. I'm not saying this in a negative way. I want it to be positive, without any discussion about it. And the Reb, he's trying to form some kind of congregation, and whenever I hear something like that, I always think about it. What happens when it turns into a world religion? And I said I want to discuss the idea of Jewish prophecy, not modern day prophecy or anything like that, not with the Christian connotation. But the looking forward and shaping the future. And also apocalypticism, not Christian apocalypticism like the end of the world, more or less the uncovering, like the more view of if his belief system took it to the end, both the pessimistic view, because as a dytheist, he seems to be constantly preaching a rather pessimistic view of the divine, of God, and things like that, rather than an optimistic view. And I was just wondering, how will that influence the group and their outlook on shaping the future, and how do they see themselves in society? And what's interesting, and I'm not saying he's going to go Jim Jones on us or anything like that, but within that group, when things went very pessimistic, and there was no hope, they kind of became apathetic and they gave up. So I just wanted to, discuss some of those issues with the Reb and kind of see where he's going. And I think that forming, he's preaching this stuff like an evangelical. If you listen to him, it's like an excellent sermon. I enjoy it. Because there's a whole other view you don't hear too much of. But just this, everybody's wondering, what's that? Basically, God hates you and everybody, and the Reb will tell you why. And it's much different than listening to an evangelical sermon. So this is kind of like with the Jewish slant, because he talks more about Torah in an evangelical fashion, which is kind of humorous at times, and evil Bible studies. Can't get enough of them. But I'm just wondering that, the idea of suffering with a more pessimistic view rather than an optimistic view. And definitely in Jewish history, there's been time periods of both, where they've had the belief that they could shape the future and form it the way they wanted it to, and they would fight for that. And also the uncovering or the knowing that at some point some messianic figure would show up, or the divine would show up and create that themselves because they felt totally helpless, and they believed that they could not shape the future. So I guess when you're forming this group and you're going through all these transitions yourself, I was just wondering how you would form this group, and if it became huge, how would that impact the believers and their outlook on the future and the ideas that they hold about the people around them? That's what I'm interested in, and I think that maybe we should wrestle over that, and hopefully nobody goes walking away limping, because there's no better conversations than that of theological wranglings. I love it. Can't get enough of it. So, I don't know. Maybe get back to me, Reb, on this. I would like to put it up on here. I know that we've both been really busy, but I was just hoping that when I sent you that email about the topics, you didn't just run for the hills, because I really do want to have a conversation about it rather than just allowing you to go on and talk about everything that you want to talk about just to get the message out of there. I actually want to have a conversation with you about it. and participate in a more meaningful way than maybe Keane did. So take care, friends, and be well, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking